These are printing relief tools. We have two different tools that we're going to be using for printing. One is a V-gouge, which is much smaller. And if you look at the very tip here, it's kind of a little tricky to catch on the camera, but you'll see it is a V shape, like a little V like that. And it is for smaller details, and it comes to a point. And it's pretty useful for those little tiny lines. There's also a U-gouge, which you'll notice is much larger, and it's curved at the bottom like this, and this is for cutting out larger areas. However, neither of these tools are used very deeply. Any cut will show up as part of your finished project, so make sure that you are being thoughtful with how you're using these and always being safe. Go ahead and show you how some of these different marks look. So the V-gouge, much smaller. When you are creating a cut, you always make sure that your fingers and your hand are supporting the block, but you're cutting away from yourself. So I could do this just fine, but if I do this, where is that knife going to go if I slip? It's going to go into my finger. So I always have to kind of move my hand around to make sure that I am cutting into the plate, kind of in a swishing motion like this. Okay, I'm not going down into the plate like this. I'm going across the surface, cutting away some of that information. So I can get really nice fine lines. I can move the plate as I go, but you just have to be careful with this, that you are never going to be pointing that knife into your hand as you do that. It might work better to actually move the knife, but again, you have to watch where your fingers are when you're doing this and not apply so much pressure that you're going to actually slip and go into your hand. These are knives. They are sharp. They will hurt you. You will bleed if you poke yourself, okay? You're not going to lose a finger, but it is going to hurt, okay? The other one is that U-gouge, and again, it is parallel to the page, or the block. You are going to get more out at a time. It is going to be a wider line, and again, you can wiggle, or you can go straight. And you can see with like that starting scooping motion and a swish up action, okay, you're going to get kind of a wide taper at the end versus with the V-blade. Okay, when you do that, it's a much finer, smaller line. But no matter what, when you start a line, it's going to be wider than where you finish. So use that to your advantage. Think about it. Feel free to turn your block around the other way. If you need to finish a line or have a different kind of mark at the end of it, go back the other direction. You can also kind of go weird directions in order to get things to come off the plate and to clear out spaces as you need to. So that's the idea with these tools. We will give you a chance to practice on some oops blocks before you start in on your real plate, but only a couple of cuts, because I want to have enough of these so that everybody gets to try it out before they're on their